I live 10 minutes away from a Walmart, but honestly, I'd rather drive 45 minutes to the next town's Walmart. The Walmart by me is just unpleasant. My brother and I one day decided to go just because we needed something quick and we were short on time. We went in and browsed the electronics section because sometimes they have some cool stuff. With nothing found, I browsed the computers while my brother quickly looked at some LED lights. As I started to walk away, I noticed a tall man with white hair walking super close to an older lady, but I just thought they might know each other. When I passed him, he got super close behind me. My eyes bugged out of my head because I knew how close he was, and my brother looked behind him because I was walking towards him. His eyes bugged too, so I knew I wasn't just imagining it. He got so oddly close I decided to turn around to see who he was, but I didn't recognize him and darted to the next aisle, where my brother came up behind me and said, "Keep walking, he's behind us." Next to electronics, the next aisle is the art and craft supplies. We kept walking as my brother peered behind us and he loudly whispered, "Oh my god, he is still following us." So we made it into the auto care section, which was the main reason of the visit to Walmart. Which I was relieved when there was more people around there than there was in electronics. After getting what we needed, we made our way back to electronics to pay. It was over 20 minutes since we last seen that ghostly looking man. As we turned the corner and we see the guy again. Eyes darted right at me as I tried to ignore it. The ladies at the electronics looked a bit off, and I noticed them speaking Spanish. I picked up that they called security because that guy was just standing there. Meanwhile, in line to pay, security comes and asks the guy if he was waiting on someone, and he replied no, and turned away. After we paid, I told my brother that this is why I don't shop around here. As we walked to the front of the store, the same guy was following us. We ran to the Jeep and locked the doors. My brother described his eyes as hunting eyes, dead and soulless. I don't know what happened after we left, but I don't shop anywhere near my home to avoid the weirdos of my city. So this story happened when I was a teenager. I was about 16. I went to spend the night at my friend's house. It was a Friday night and we were hanging out, calling our other friends, and watching TV. We ended up falling asleep super late. Saturday morning it was cleaning day. Since there's not much to do till later that night, my friend's mom woke us up super early. I was over her house so often I wasn't even considered a guest anymore. So she told us to get dressed and eat something before we go to the store. After we got dressed, my friend's mom sent us to the Walmart that was in another city. Gave us some cash for the bus and to get the cleaning supplies from Walmart. I always hated the bus. I would rather walk everywhere because I know there's weird stuff that happens there. We got on the bus stop and didn't wait long till one came and we got on. As we got on, we saw this disgruntled looking man looking at us with a very aggressive expression on his face. I told my friend and I was like, why is that guy staring at us? We just laughed it off and ignored it. But not too long after, he moved seats and sat a few seats behind us. The whole 15-minute ride, we kept feeling him stare at us. We started cracking jokes to each other, saying that maybe he likes younger girls, and laughed. We kept making jokes about him to lighten up the mood and deflect the fact that we felt uncomfortable with his stares. Towards the end of the ride, he moved even closer to us. We looked at each other and whispered, "Did you see that?" He was too close for comfort. This old man had a Bill Cosby-like sweater, hair on the sides of his head, bald on top, and dirty scratched up brown boots. Once the bus stopped at the store, we rushed to get off and ran into the store. And we watched the man do the same thing. Walking throughout the store, gathering the supplies we needed, we noticed this man following us. Towards the end of our shopping trip, we were in checkout for a while and hadn't seen the man leave or pass near us. We started talking about how weird it was that he kept on looking at us. We stopped at a Subway and grabbed sandwiches to eat while we waited for the bus to pick us up. And walking towards the exit, we see the man standing next to it. We passed like we didn't see him, and we sat at the bus stop outside of the store. This man comes out and stands on the other side of the small plastic structure that covers the bus stop for when it rings, and his phone rings. We were already creeped out because the whole situation was weird, but the icing on the cake was when he answered the phone. This man said in Spanish when he answered, "I'm here with two pretty girls. Come get me." And he smiled at us right after he hung up. I grabbed my friend and shouted, "Shit, I forgot something in the store. Your mom's gonna be pissed if we forget it." And running back in, I walked up to the service desk and told them that there's a man outside that's been following us throughout the entire store. They called management and the police, but the man was already gone by the time anyone went outside. After that happened, I never rode the bus again, and I would rather take a walk, bike, or even run. I'm a 17-year-old female, and this happened to me a couple months ago. I was grocery shopping with my mom at Walmart. We walked in together, but I quickly split off from her because I wanted to get some things for myself. I told her that I would call her and tell her where I was when I got the things I needed. I'm not sure when they started following me, but as I was moving throughout the store, they kept appearing in the same aisles I was going to, or walking past the aisles I was in, and I started to think they might be following me, and I started to get a little freaked out. So I decided to walk towards the garden center to see if they would follow me there, and of course, they did. I might have been feeling paranoid, but it looked like they kept looking at me and talking to one another. So I started to freak out even more and went up to one of the garden center employees to ask them some stupid question like, "Where do you keep the big garden pots?" to try to make it seem like I might have been telling the employee that those two men had been following me, hoping it might scare them from actually doing anything. I didn't actually want to say anything because I hate making scenes, especially if I wasn't 100% sure. The employee showed me towards the pot section, and I stayed there for a couple of minutes pretending to look at them. The two men remained at the garden center, walking past the aisle I was in, or walking past the exit. Another thing that worried me was that they weren't carrying any items with them, or a shopping cart or anything, even though they had been walking around the entire fucking store, looking, or at least pretending to look at items. So I thought fuck it and decided to walk towards the self-checkout. On my way there, I texted my mom that I thought I was being followed and I told her where I was going. This is the part that creeps me out the most. As I started checking out, I looked up and saw one of the guys in the clothes section staring right at me. He wasn't even trying to hide it at this point. The clothes section is right beside the self-checkout, and he was resting his arm on the clothing racks, and I could see that he was also pointing his phone at me. Like, he was taking some picture. I feel like he might have been texting the other guy that I was leaving, and maybe he might have been waiting for me in the parking lot, because the other guy was nowhere near us now. As I'm checking my items out, my mom calls me and I tell her what's going on and where I am. And she told me that she was on the way. As I'm on the phone, the guy keeps staring at me, so I wait still for my mom, keeping a couple items to the side to make it seem like I'm undecisive. And as soon as she arrives and stands beside me, the man just leaves, and I didn't see them again. I didn't see them as we were walking out the store, or in the parking lot. I kept looking all around us, side to side and behind us on our way to the car, scared that they might show up, but they never did, and we quickly left. Even though nothing happened, I couldn't shake the odd feeling that something might have happened if my mom wasn't there with me.